You're watching Euronews Now. Welcome to the program. I'm Anka Ula. It's Monday, April 11th. Let's take a look at today's top stories. The battle for votes is on as French President Emmanuel Macron and far-right challenger Marine Le Pen advance to the second round of the presidential election. EU foreign ministers meet to discuss their next steps on Ukraine. Pressure is increasing for them to mount a strong response in light of Russian war crimes. And Ukraine braces itself for a new Russian offensive in the east. President Zelensky says he's expecting even larger Russian operations than we've seen so far.
France is facing 2 weeks of what is said to be a bruising campaign over the country's future. Centrist incumbent Emmanuel Macron is in the runoff with far-right Marine Le Pen for the presidency. Although it came top in the first round, nothing is decided, Macron told his supporters.
Over the next 2 weeks, let us spare no effort because nothing is done. Let us be humble, determined. Let us convince everybody on April 24th we can make the choice of a new French and European era. On April 24th, we can make the choice of hope. On April 24th, we can make the choice for France and Europe together.
Le 24 avril, nous pouvons faire le choix de la France et de l'Europe ensemble.
Le Pen, who is known for her anti-immigration stance, has steadily gained support after campaigning hard on the cost of living crisis and inflation.
I will ensure national independence to make France a country of peace. I will bring back France's sovereignty in all areas, which means the freedom for the French people to decide for themselves and defend their interests. I will control immigration and re-establish security for all.
Veteran far-left agitator Jean-Luc Melenchon finished nearly behind Le Pen in third, and he now has the unlikely role of kingmaker. He immediately gave a speech in Paris shouting 3 times, "Do not give a single vote to Marine Le Pen," to huge cheers. But he did not endorse Macron.
What do they take the French people for? They are capable of knowing what to do. They are capable of deciding what is good for the country. We will never lose our trust in democracy, so you must not give a vote to Miss Le Pen.
The vote confirmed the decline of traditional parties of government. The Socialists and Les Républicains fared badly. Last time, Macron easily beat Le Pen in the second round. But this time, Le Pen has the benefit of votes from supporters of far-right Eric Zemmour.
Brussels is watching the French elections closely, where there's a clear awareness of what's at stake for the European Union. According to some experts, Emmanuel Macron is the candidate of choice among the bloc's top brass.
For the EU, the second round will ultimately be for continuity with Macron and a pro-European stance. So we can imagine that he is the preferred choice from the point of view of European partners and European institutions. And on the other side, Marine Le Pen, who even if she no longer wants to get rid of the euro, the main basis of her political program calls into question the obligations and commitment of France within the EU. An eventual election of Le Pen would be a major problem for Brussels.
But what are her ideas and plans for France that could cause a potential clash with Brussels?
She's promising VAT cuts that cannot be done without the approval of the EU. What would she do in regard to the EU's pandemic recovery funds? What would she do in terms of debt and deficit reduction? And then she promises border controls on goods, which is against the treaties and would be an economic blow to France and its partners. And also her migration policy is problematic too.
During the first part of the electoral campaign, Europe was not a major topic. But with the second round approaching, it's now likely to be firmly in focus.
At the end of the first round of the presidential election in France, the European Union is not faced with a new situation. On the contrary, it is a repeat of the 2017 election. Emmanuel Macron, the incumbent president, will again be pitted against the far-right candidate Marine Le Pen in a fortnight's time. Officially, the European institutions refuse to comment or take sides in a national election, but there is little doubt that they would prefer to see Emmanuel Macron continue for another 5 years. Such a victory would first of all facilitate the continuation of political work, as France currently holds the 6-month presidency of the European Union. A new mandate for Emmanuel Macron should bring a form of continuity and continue the path towards greater European integration. In contrast, a victory for Marine Le Pen would mean a new Eurosceptic head of state. The EU already has populist governments in its midst, but in the case of France, it is the second largest economy in the European Union and a founding country of the European project. For the moment, the EU is waiting for the final result before projecting itself further. However, in the immediate future, the institutions cannot forget that at the end of this first round, a third of French voters voted for Eurosceptic candidates. Grégoire Laurie, Euronews, Brussels.
EU foreign ministers are meeting in Luxembourg to decipher the effectiveness of the bloc's response to the Russian invasion of Ukraine, amid concerns about Moscow's preparations for a major attack in the east. EU Foreign Policy Chief Joseph Borrell, who is chairing Monday's meeting in Luxembourg, deplored the action of Russian troops.
We are going to discuss about Ukraine once again. I will debrief the Foreign Affairs Council of the travel to Ukraine together with the President of the Commission. We have witnessed what's happening there and the brutal aggression of the Russian troops against the civilian population.
Borrell, who visited Ukraine over the weekend, says further EU sanctions against Russia are always on the table. He added he's afraid that Russian troops are massing on the east to launch an attack on the Donbass region after Moscow withdrew its forces from Kyiv last week.
Ukrainian forces dig in, preparing for the battle which is sure to come as Russia lines up more firepower in eastern Ukraine. The Kremlin has declared its intent to, in its words, liberate the Donbass region in what's expected to be a new focused push. Russia has continued its shelling elsewhere. In a statement released on Sunday, the Russian Ministry of Defense claimed it carried out attacks on 86 military sites, including one in the central eastern city of Dnipro and Ukraine's second-largest city of Kharkiv. Ukraine has confirmed the airport at Dnipro has been destroyed. With the Russian military build-up in the east continuing, Ukraine's embattled government is calling for more weapons support from its allies, including the US.
We went through every weapons system that Ukraine is seeking in priority order, and we have developed plans to deliver those as rapidly as possible. Some have been delivered, others are in the process of being delivered. And we will continue to work aggressively to get Ukraine what it needs to strengthen its hand on the battlefield and to strengthen its hand at the bargaining table.
US intelligence has also confirmed that Russia has appointed a new Ukraine war commander. One of Russia's most experienced military officers, General Alexander Dvornikov, it's claimed has a record of brutality against civilians in Syria. Meanwhile, specially designated Ukrainian war crimes prosecutors and forensic experts have exhumed another 9 bodies from a mass grave in Bucha, taking the total to 30 people hurriedly buried by retreating Russian forces.
This is Euronews Now, and we've got much more coming up on the program, so do stay with us.